Hello? Welcome to our press conference tonight. We made a decision to go ahead and have a press conference tonight instead of just updating the maps on COSATX as we open up more areas of the city. I want to thank all of you citizens for your patience, for your ability to continue to support the city and understand the pressure and stress that your neighbors, your friends, and the rest of your family is under right now. We're so used to having water so readily available to us that we don't really realize how difficult it is when you automatically turn on a faucet and have water. So thank you, and we will continue to update you and continue to keep you informed. We want to make sure you know we want you to have the information as soon as we get the information from TCEQ and they let us do a continual opening of areas for water. I want to continue to acknowledge all of our small businesses and families that are suffering and having a hard time having to close their businesses for a couple of days, and their employees knowing that they're missing work and not getting paid. So we understand how difficult this is. It's not just about not having water. It's about the impact of not having water to your lives and your livelihoods. And with that, I want to ask Allison to come up and continue to give information that we believe you need to know.
Thank you, Mayor. We want to make sure that we work for all of our citizens, that we keep opening up certain areas. And as the mayor discussed, we are opening up additional areas, but they are not going to a green shaded area. They are being upgraded from a do not use to a do not drink. So we will be updating our maps on social media, Channel 17, getting that out there everywhere we can. So since the press conference and most all day, we have been working with TCEQ as we have over the past several days. And as we discussed, we took an additional 22 samples yesterday morning. As of the press conference earlier, we did not have those results, but we received them shortly thereafter. All the results of those 22 tests came back clean. There were 3 tests that tested, did detect benzene, but it was all below the maximum contaminant level for drinking water standards of 5 micrograms per liter. So all of these tests that were taken, these 22 samples, would have passed drinking water standards. With that information, we worked with TCEQ. They, too, also took additional samples this afternoon that they are waiting results on. But this is what led to us allowing the do not use area to go to a do not drink, consume, or cook with this water. In this, we're going to delineate it by 3 colors. So the green color is no restrictions. Those are the ones that can resume using their water as normal. The white areas are the do not drink, and then the red area, the Paulan area, will still stay in the do not use restriction. So I know there will be a lot of questions about the do not drink do's and don'ts, and so we've tried to compile a list, and I'm sure we'll keep adding to the list as we receive those questions. But for the do take showers, wash dishes, wash your hands, do laundry. Some things that you do not do: drink water from the faucet, cook with water from the faucet, use ice from an automatic dispenser, prepare coffee with the water from the faucet, or fill pet water bowls from the faucet. So those are all things, anything that's going to be ingested water-wise, do not use that, but do take showers. Also, do not brush your teeth with faucet water. Please continue to use bottled water for that. TCEQ does anticipate that they will receive their samples hopefully sometime early tomorrow, and then we can hopefully take this area of the do not drink portion of town back into the green shaded area where customers can resume their water use as normal. So we are continuing to work through that, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. Yes, if you can go to the mic, please, so that our viewers can hear your question.
Obviously, what you said earlier, the do not drink, do not cook, do not boil the water as well. You don't want to inhale the fumes that is from the water?
Correct. You do not want, even boiling is not to boil a pot of soup or for tea, any of those things. It is, if the water is going to be ingested, you do not use it.
Yes.
Oh, you're at?
In the white. So do not boil the water in there at all. Do not even, because of the fumes? Because what y'all said earlier, that these chemicals are more dangerous if you inhale them rather than consuming them.
So I'm going to get Josh, because I don't think I understand your question, and I think he does.
Yes, you're correct. From TCEQ standpoint, they want to make sure that, again, as Allison noted earlier, of the 22 samples that were tested yesterday, that we got the results back this evening, only 3 still had positive hits for benzene. However, those levels were below the maximum contaminant level. So in other words, if we were to routinely test this in a water system somewhere and we saw those levels, that would not flag to say stop using the water. It's below the health recommended or the maximum contaminant level mandated by EPA and TCEQ. However, because benzene is a volatile organic carbon, yes, you do not want to boil water. So if you're doing cooking, use bottled water to do the cooking at least through today and tomorrow until hopefully, as Allison said, when the TCEQ gets their results back that should then match up to our results that we received this evening, our hope is that we'll be able to then convert the do not drink advisory for the remaining white area back to released for full use. So essentially, our hope is by sometime tomorrow that the white area, we should maybe be able to convert it also to a green area. And then at that time, the only thing that would still be remaining would be the area in red, pink, however you want to look at the color. This area is still under isolation. That area, as we talked about earlier today, at today's press conference, is the area that we still need to work through the flushing plan with TCEQ. We've made a lot of progress between city staff and TCEQ staff throughout the day today. Their first focus, though, was making sure that TCEQ was able to collect their samples that would then confirm our results once they get their results back. But then the very next step of that, the next order of business with TCEQ is to then talk through the flushing plan, make sure everybody's in agreement on that, to make sure that when we are doing that, we're maintaining unidirectional flow of flushing so that when we start from one end, we're moving our way across the system, across this isolation area, so we don't push water in one location and have it kind of loop back on us. We want to make sure that's a clear demarcation with TCEQ, which would be that final step to get the existing isolation system in red back to normal operation as well.
And one more question. How does something like benzene get into our water? Is it a natural occurrence, or is this something that is because of industrial plants or whatever it may be?
Benzene can be naturally occurring to small extents. It can be found in certain plants and vegetation. But of the concentration that we see, that's generally coming from some either industrial or commercial entity, which, again, as we noted earlier today, that's still an ongoing evaluation and investigation to try to determine, if possible, to pinpoint that source and make sure that we put in procedures going forward long term to ensure that this kind of incident wouldn't happen again.
Gotcha. And what is the status so far of those investigations to make sure this doesn't happen moving forward?
We've had additional discussions with TCEQ this evening between city staff and TCEQ's field personnel who have been in the city working with us diligently. In addition to that, the city has made a request to the state to bring in additional CSI inspectors, so customer service inspectors, and specifically inspectors that are not just familiar with doing inspections for household residential systems, but more importantly, commercial and industrial facilities. so that, again, they can look at those facilities very efficiently, so we can try to narrow that list down as soon as possible, not as fast as possible, but again, not cutting corners, doing it right, but going through that list where when we say we go through and do an evaluation, we're comfortable that we can take them off the list as a potential source, and so can TCEQ. That effort's still ongoing, but we have 3 inspectors that are registered CSI inspectors from TCEQ that actually came up from South Texas this evening, and they'll be out in the field first thing tomorrow morning, and we'll be continuing to work with the existing TCEQ staff that was already here, as well as city staff. So that's still ongoing at this time.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm going to ask for further clarification because there are businesses such as restaurants who are in this area that will be wanting to open tomorrow, and they need to know the following. We can cook as long as we use bottled water. We can wash dishes with bottled water that is heated.
Yeah, if we can do that all on the microphone, that's what I was going to come up and ask.
I just want to make sure because there are businesses and they need to be very clear about what they can and cannot do. We've got hotels that will be opening. They need to know what those specific rules are. They've got customers who are going to want to make coffee in their rooms. We need to make sure that they have water in their rooms to make coffee, etc. So we've got to be very specific unless we're very sure everything that is, going to be on the city of website tomorrow, but let's be really clear. It's easier for a household to understand bottled water. They're preparing for themselves. What are the commercial issues relative to a business and what they must do or not do?
I do want to follow up right before Allison talks. Brian Groves, Public Information Officer. We're going to send all this information out when we're done. Part of that will be guidance from our health department for restaurants that will talk about what they need, what they can do, and what they can't do. Some of the stuff, so you can follow up while I go back there and switch cameras again, that people are asking, hit all the stuff they can do again, showering, washing hands, all that stuff. We have people that are asking those questions again. So anyway.
So before we go into the restaurant establishments, what households can do in the do not drink area is they can take showers, they can wash dishes, you can wash your hands, and you can also do laundry. Things you do not want to do is drink water from the faucet. Continue to use bottled water. Same with brushing your teeth. Continue to use bottled water. You don't want to cook with water from the faucet. If you cook, use bottled water. Do not use ice from an automatic dispenser. Purchase from a commercial facility within the green area of the attached map. Prepare coffee with water. You do not want to prepare coffee with water from the faucet. And you do not want to fill pet water bowls from the faucet as well. As the mayor discussed, we've got some commercial guidelines. Also, this can be used for the food establishments. Let me get this open. For cooking, use commercially bottled water for all cooking. Water brought in from an approved public water supply in a covered, sanitized container. For drinking water, you shall use commercially bottled water. For beverages made with water, do not use post-mix carbonated beverage machines, autofill coffee makers, instant hot water heater, ice machines, etc., using an autofill method, so from the potable water supply. Do not use ice machines. Use commercially manufactured ice if you need it for the restaurant. And as we discussed in the do list for homes, you can wash your dishes, so therefore restaurants can wash their dishes with this water. All right, thank you very much.